Welcome to the Northern Knits Podcast. We're two friends in fiber who knit, craft, crochet, and talk everything in between. My name is Jocelyn, and my co-host is.
Diana.
I'm told it's episode 378. Hopefully, I'm
Hmm.
remembering that correctly. And it feels weird to record because we've been live for the better part of a month.
I know.
Wow,
What is this recording thing? Where's the
this
chat? I
is
don't know.
just
This is
so
weird.
weird. All right. Public service announcement time. Jocelyn's a klutz. Yes, I have injured
Hmm.
myself, so if it looks like I'm moving stiffly, it's because I am.
She has been thoroughly finger wagged at and all caps locked messaged at. So the
Families,
stern finger shaking has been completed.
I've been told off by friends, family, and internet people. We're good, guys. I will be fine. I did it to myself. It's just a part of life, of me. It's fine. But if you occasionally looks like I'm moving very stiffly, it's because I'm moving very stiffly. And there's just no way to hide that. So we're just, yeah. I had a very, very pretty moment, and I'm gonna pay for it for a bit. That's how that works. Today, however, for funsies, in my purple mug, I am drinking some loose leaf tea from Germany.
Ooh, is it good?
With the appropriate rock salt. Rock salt, rock sugar. Why do I always say rock salt? Every time. It's sugar, not salt. Oh my God. Yeah, it tastes
It's a
amazing.
very different kind of drink.
Very, it is a wonderful black tea. So good. So good. So happy.
Hmm. I'm realizing I fell down on the having an interesting beverage. I have my cup of water. I had coffee, but then I finished it before we got started. So I have water.
Cool, cool. I don't know,
Yeah, I
man.
know.
Oh,
I went to buy my root beer flavored sparkling water
yes.
this week,
Uh-huh.
and it has an extremely similar packaging to actual root beer. So it turns out I bought actual root beer this week. So I've got 12 cans of actual root beer to drink, which is, you know, as far as mistakes go, oh
It's fine.
no, I
It's
have to
the
drink root
root
beer.
beer. Yeah, I'm like,
The horror. Um,
not sure
but
that's
I'm gonna have to pay closer
negative.
attention next time.
You know what it means is you gotta get some vanilla ice cream. So you
Oh
can have
my
root beer
goodness, yes.
floats. Because
Yes,
I mean, you got regular root beer in the house, and it's summertime. You might as well just commit and get the
I
ice
agree.
cream and make a float. And you have
I
to get
agree.
the good vanilla ice cream, not the French vanilla ice cream, but the flat base, like the straight up just vanilla ice cream.
Well, I might just make some vanilla ice cream and that'll be
Also an
even
option.
better.
Even better. Yeah, because in a float, the ice cream makes or breaks it.
It does.
It does. It so does. I really like the creamery vanilla ice creams.
I don't know if we have those out here.
I don't know if you have them around. I know for sure that if it's a root beer float or like a Coke float situation, I do the real dairy ice cream. I pay for it because me and dairy don't get along so well, but it has to be the real dairy. It has to be the real dairy ice
Yeah,
cream.
yeah.
It just has to be. I don't have a stand mixer anymore, or I'd make my own ice cream, but my sister's broke, and my sister like bakes way more than I do. Way more than I do, you guys. Way more. She's
Hmm.
she has a teenage daughter, and her daughter has had a boyfriend for about 2 years now, and I don't know if you've tried to feed two teenagers at the same time.
I have not. I can
Um,
imagine it's an impossible task.
it's there are many stories of drama about how much food gets consumed in that house. I mean, and she works out, and my brother-in-law works out, and he works a very labor heavy job because he's grocery management, right? So like he does pallet work, he fills shelves, like grocery managers do all the same work people who work on the floor do plus paperwork. The good ones anyway. So I'm like, can't how do they keep any house food in that house at all? Because the four of them burn through so many calories in a day. I can't.
I don't want to know the food bill.
I don't want to know the food bill either. I'm one human. I don't want to know my own food bill, never mind theirs. Plus, they're two 80+ pound dogs.
Oh goodness. It's helping nothing.
Helps with nothing. Nothing. All right. What do we do? We did the public service announcement. Diana has
Yep.
Aqua, always good. However, next week I expect root beer float now. There's a live on
Yes.
Sunday. I expect root beer float. You best secure
Okay.
that.
I will lock that down.
Lock that down. I will try to figure out how to also have some sort of fancy beverage for the monthly live. We'll see how it goes. What else we got? Oh, as of recording today, it's the 1st of July. So while when you guys see this, we'll have just had Canada Day and we'll be preparing for 4th of July, which is a Happy America Day. So this week is Happy Canada Day and Happy America Day.
Happy North America Week.
Yep, pretty much 1st and 4th respectively. All right. You said you have five. I've got five. So let's dive into things because we had a whip sprint. So we always have many projects after a whip
We
sprint.
have things.
And heavens knows, my bed's calling my name. So I can
Let's
get the
get into it.
pillows and get the things propped and all the angles right, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And if you fall asleep, it doesn't matter. You're already in a comfy space.
Yep.
Also, the high is like 19, and there's like intermittent showers and thunderstorms all day today with like a light breeze. So she's like freaking excellent lounge
Oh,
somewhere knitting weather. So as much as I love you peeps, and
yes.
I do love you peeps, this is most excellent lounge knitting weather, and I wish to take advantage of all of the listen to the cozy books, do all the knitting.
Yes. I endorse this. That's what I did yesterday when we had similar weather.
Oh yeah, so good. So good with my fancy black tea. A huge pot of
Do it
it.
up.
Huge pot of it. All right. Am I going first just because when you go first it weirds you out?
It's weird when I go first, so you have to go
It's
first.
weird when I okay, then I will go first. Let's talk socks. I put some raspberry orange sherbet yarn from Erin of Fireweed Fiber Co. on the needles.
So
I'm gonna lower
pretty.
my arm because that was actually quite painful. Um, I'm just making a basic sock. I am making this slightly larger than my usual basic Kevlar sock. Still Kevlar sock, for anybody who doesn't know. To get sock gauge, I average anywhere from like a 3.25 to 3.75, depending on the sock pattern, right? Because you got some variabilities in there. My standard vanilla sock is knit on a 2.25 millimeter. I don't knit socks, I knit Kevlar. I've never had to repair one of my socks. Never, ever. There is never a snagged stitch. There is never a worn out spot because stitches are so tight, there's no movement. None. There's no movement. But I did want to make a couple of socks that were essentially 2 stitches bigger than my usual sock, so that they would slide over my ankle sleeves. So if I'm having a bad day and I need to brace my ankle properly, I will have socks big enough to put on my feet.
Makes
So
sense.
we've started the process. It's just a straight up basic vanilla sock, nothing fancy. Mine are toe up. This case, I am 74 stitches or 76 stitches. I decided on 74 or 76 stitches around. I'm usually 72. Again, Kevlar. I'm something like an obscene number of stitches over 4 inches.
I can only imagine because I've got normal sock gauge on a 2.25 and you knit way tighter.
I do. If I'm on sock gauge, I need like a 68, right? But on mine, I need like a 72, 74, depending on what's going on. I do increases till it fits over my baby toe comfortably, and then I just make the sock. And whatever that size happens to be, that's the size sock I knit. So for me, it's very much a custom foot fit. In this case, I did it to my baby toe, and then I did one more increase round so it would go over the stretchy spandex material of a ankle brace.
Makes sense.
So something like that. Anyway, I'm toe up. It's gonna be the mock short row heel. We all know it's gonna be the mock short row heel. I like the mock short row heel. I do mine in garter, so I get extra squishy heels. Whether or not it'll be shorties or long, I don't know yet. I haven't decided. I usually end up making that decision after once I'm past the heel and see how tired I am of the sock. If I'm absolutely disgusted with the sock and I want something new, shorties. If I'm still vibing the color, I'll make a full leg. It's not a decision I can make until then. All right, my dear. That is my first project. I made a fair bit of
What?
progress considering that was a cast on last week.
Yeah, you got a whole toe.
I got a toe and I'm working my way up the foot.
If we're talking socks, I suppose I could talk about my sock.
Sure.
I have only picked it. This is apparently my recording sock. So if I'm not on a video call on this computer, I apparently don't work on it because that little stitch marker there is from where we ended off with the live on Wednesday. Yes,
Okay.
because I didn't work on this during with prints. So that's where I ended off on the live on Wednesday. So that's how much I've done since we started talking today, which is about a
Okay.
finger width.
Yep.
And if I fold it over, because I make my leg the same length as my foot, I'm around 2 fingers away from being done.
That's not too bad. That's the
Yeah,
second sock, right?
that is the second sock. So I will have a finished pair of socks in, well, I don't know. We'll see how far I get today.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes because I'm not anticipating any video calls this week that aren't with you. So,
Fair,
we'll see.
fair.
We'll see if I get this done this week, but certainly in the next week or two, I will have a finished pair of socks. I'm excited about it because they're so
Good.
pretty. This
Lord
is
knows you've
there's
got
Coffee in
sock
That
yard.
Nebula. There's Coffee in That Nebula from Fireweed Fiber Co.
You have so much
It's all
sock
pink and
yard.
purple with some bits of yellow.
So much
It's
sock
so
yard.
fun. I love it.
I love Aaron's socks. So
This
pretty.
is, I think, my favorite sock color I've knit in so far.
Okay. I'm really loving this raspberry orange sherbet. It's just so freaking cheerful. Just like it is hard to feel dreary with this much sunshine, orangey, raspberry colored sherbet vibes in my face. This is just so
Right?
bright. So good. So good. All right, I suppose that means I'm next. I have some assembly to do, as you can tell from this lovely stack of gray fabric in my hands.
Mm.
I have two completed sleeves. I have two completed front panels. I have a completed back panel. So I need to do some assembly to put together a gray version of that red everyday favorite cardigan that hangs out in the background. I made this one a regular length, a regular long, instead of the extra doozy long that my red one is. Because, you know,
Hmm.
I'm very tall, so like a long cardigan on everybody else is like a good length for me. But that's okay. Hang on, let's toss this aside. So I'm not trying to handle things, do stuff all at the same time. What I have left to do is a button band. Which notice I didn't say non-button button band. I said button band.
Doing
We're
actual buttons.
committing to buttons. We're committing to buttons. I have made some buttonholes. There are some
Ooh,
buttonholes.
actual buttonholes.
Actual buttonholes. I've
We don't
barely
do
begun.
buttonholes.
I so rarely do buttonholes. I do, however, have gray buttons to go with this blue-gray fabric. And since I bought a very large bag of plastic gray buttons, I would like to use them for some things rather than just have them sitting around because I am not a collector of buttons. It's not my vibe. So I started this morning and I've made a couple of rows, but I know it's going to be slow progress, mostly because it's a lot of single crochet through the back loop. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know for sure how many buttons I want to have. So I'm probably going to start with like 6 buttons and then I'll like vibe it out from there and see how I feel about it. So I need to assemble and finish this button band, sew it together, and then I have a finished cardigan. So I am closer to an FO.
Ooh.
Closer to an FO. This is reclaimed Briggs and Little in a very beautiful, kind of cool blue-gray color. I loved the cardigan I initially made out of it. I just never wore it. So I'm hoping because this is a lighter breeze, like airier cardigan, that there's more airflow,
Mm-hmm.
that I'll wear it more than I did the very dense, very heat trapping cardigan I had before. because reasons. Oh Lord Almighty.
Oh,
Okay.
mine that I made is right in the corner here. It's awaiting pockets. It's in the stack for pockets.
It's in the stack for pockets. I
Yes.
loved the waffle cardigan. I just got so warm every time I wore it.
Yeah, it's so cozy. I love it.
I couldn't do it. I never wore it. It was so pretty. So I was like,
It's too
no, I
warm to wear it
can't.
right now, but it's so cozy.
Too warm for me to ever wear mine. Um, I really loved it, but I know I'm reclaiming yarn from projects and I just doesn't matter how much I love the project, I'm not wearing the thing because it's too heavy. For me. It's too heavy for me. So saying it wouldn't work for other people. So Sad Panda also good because now the yarn can be used. And I do love Briggs and Little yarn. I don't like seeing stuff not get used. That's not good. That's not good.
I guess I can talk about the thing from the thumbnail.
Oh yeah,
It's Tour de Fleece. So I've been
it
spinning a
is.
little bit every day. I made no commitments about how much I was going to spin every day, just that I would spin every day, which has so far been very achievable because I got to be very late last night. I was getting ready for bed and I'm like, oh no, I haven't spun yet. Okay, well, I guess I'll do like 2 minutes. There, that counts.
You need to post photos.
I know. I've been falling down on my photos.
Fall down on your
Um,
photos.
yeah. And some reels.
Due to
Anyway,
injuries, I'm not doing Tour de Fleece. I've had to back out.
that is entirely reasonable. I was about to
That's
say something foolish like, I'll spin enough for both of us. No, no, I
no,
won't.
you
I won't.
won't.
That's a
No, you
lie.
won't. That's a lie.
I'm lying to everybody, including
That's
myself.
that's a that's a doozy. That's what that
But what I
is.
will do is spin a little bit every day. It might be two
Absolutely.
minutes, but that counts.
It counts. It's just getting into the habit, right? Which is what I was going to use
Yeah.
Tour de Fleece for, was to get into the habit. So I will have to do something else to get into the habit. That's fine. But yeah, no, take the photos. Do a little bit every day. You're gonna be so happy you did. That's your support. That's your supported
Yes, this is
spindle, right?
the supported spindle that I got at Knit City, Toronto, and
Mm.
I'm absolutely forgetting the name of the people that make them.
Well, I wasn't there, so you cannot
Nope, I can't. It was
access
something French, so it's not sticking very well in my mind.
you can't access your external memory drive. That's me. I wasn't with you at the time.
Yeah, I know.
I
Anyway,
just saw
it's
that.
delightful. I've been thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah.
And the yarn is Romney from a local farm, Twin Oaks Farm.
Oh,
Oh, come on. There we go. So
so
it's like pre-drafted
pretty.
into this nice like roving situation.
Yeah,
So I'm just gonna use this entire thing to practice.
do it up.
My current thing that I'm trying to figure out is how much yarn can I fit on this thing
Yes.
before I have to wind it off into, I assume I wind it off into a plying bracelet and then do that. I think that's how supported spindling works.
I have no idea. I know of supported spindling, and that is the entire extent of my knowledge on it.
I've watched a few videos and that seems to be how it works because
Okay.
you can't get that much on a supported spindle.
Yeah, that's
It's an
fine.
amount that is appropriate for a plying bracelet,
Okay.
it seems like. If I am wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments, especially if you want to link like videos and resources, because I'm very much still learning.
Yeah. But that's the best part. There's always
But
something to learn.
yeah, so this is lovely. And and my thickness is very inconsistent, and that's okay because I'm learning, and I will get some lovely rustic yarn when I'm done that I will make goodness knows what with, but it'll be around 100 grams. So something with around 100 grams of Romney.
In that nice solid color, I think you should do one of your fun variegated ones next and then make a two skein shawl
Ooh.
or color work mittens or something.
Hmm.
Like how I
Hmm.
think, right? I like how I think too. I
Hmm.
think good. Say 200 grams. That gets you a hat and a pair of mittens. All of a sudden, you got a matching hat mitten situation. Or you
I'm
do
just
a
thinking, can I just like
cowl.
make a hat out of it?
You could.
Is it soft enough? I feel like it is soft enough. I'm not bothered,
I
but
was like, Romney's not
I
very scratchy, but okay.
it's not. However, my skin loves to do that pretty princess thing where occasionally it's
Um,
just suddenly irritated by the
Irritated?
softest of wool
Yeah.
randomly, even though I've been wearing the same sweater all day and it just suddenly gets really irritated.
Okay, yeah, yeah. That's fair.
So I'm thinking maybe hat. Because if it doesn't touch
Hat.
my neck, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, hat, mittens.
Something like that. We'll see what thickness I get and what it's going to look good as. Because if it's mittens,
Yes.
I want it to like keep snow out,
I'm gonna start
which
doing
might
2-layer mittens. Enough of this. I live in a place of much wind, and
yes, I live
hopefully
distinctly
this
less
year
wind.
we get actual amounts of real snow. When the people who live in the province with you who don't like winter go, "Where's winter?" That tells you what
It's
kind of
weird
winter
to
we've
not get
had.
winter. It's very weird.
Very weird. So I'm gonna do some lined bits where I'm gonna do like a thinner yarn underlayer, and then I'm gonna do a thicker outer yarn, and I'm gonna tuft the thicker outer yarn. So it's gonna be like maximum paddage.
Oh, those are gonna be so thick.
It's gonna be so good. They're gonna be so good though. You do like a fingering weight, and then you do like a DK or worsted on top, and you've got like light thrumming through, not heavy duty thrumming, but like light thrumming. Everything's all
Oh,
compact and squishy, and you get all that air insulation in there,
yep,
and you get that double layer wind protection.
yep.
I'm thinking, guys, I was not born yesterday. I was born the day before. Okay, I suppose it's my turn.
Maybe some thrum mittens with this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Oh yeah, with
Give
like
this some
with a
thought.
nice white thrumming. It'll have that just
Because
beautiful like
I still
snow
have some
speckly
of the white
pop.
fluff that I bought years ago when I did some thrum mittens.
I know I have a pair of those thrummed mittens. It's
Okay, okay.
delightful.
Well, maybe that's what that'll be. Anyway, first things first, gotta spin it.
Gotta spin it. Gotta ply it. Gotta
And then
thwack
I gotta
it.
apply it. Yeah, I gotta
There's
do all the steps. There's
steps.
a
There's
lot more
steps.
steps before it turns into anything.
So I have so much leftover blue-gray yarn. I have so much leftover blue-gray yarn. I have like 300 to 400 grams of leftover blue-gray yarn. I was talking to the niece, 17. So her idea of fashion aside, uh, because we're 17,
Mm-hmm.
we're talking, and she's like, "Well, is it enough for a crop top?" I'm like, it is enough for a crop top. So I'm gonna make a crop top for myself to go over my summer dresses. Because she's like, "Well, if you put it over your summer dresses, then you can wear your summer dresses longer." She's not wrong. Like the child's not wrong.
She's
I mean,
very smart.
she has her moments. So I'm like, okay, cool. That's not entirely a bad idea. So I am, and I of course am currently stuck in bed a lot, resting while I heal. So what am I doing? I'm watching YouTube on my tablet. Because of course I'm watching YouTube on my tablet. Like, what else do? You watch
Obviously.
YouTube and Amazon on your tablet, and you read books, and you crochet and knit in bed with all the
Yeah.
projects that you've prepped and put into easy reach locations. So both you and the cat can have fun with it. And I ran across a moss stitch, and it's very cute. A crocheted moss stitch is so cute. So I'm making a very quick and dirty crop top that alternates between half double crochet rows, which are like my favorite thing on the planet to do in crochet, and these cute little moss stitch rows.
Nice. So
So
it's a moss stitch.
it's essentially you are repeating row two, and row two is a single crochet with a chain one, and then you single crochet into the chain one space from the row below. Technically, it's done at a much
Okay.
tighter gauge. You get that little moss bump, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing this on a very loose gauge, so it looks more like lace than a moss bump, which is what I
Okay.
want. Because again, I don't want too dense of a fabric, right? So I'm going to use these
Yeah.
stripes, these 2-inch stripes of essentially lace sectioning, to help keep heat from getting trapped inside my person. So I've started my first panel. I got my ribbing. I even made the ribbing super loose, like it's a half double crochet through the back loop ribbing. Like this is it's all stretch 80s. 80s is going to be a boat neck off the one shoulder sort of idea. Like there's going to be no shape,
Nice.
be no shape to this. I'm going to make the 2 panels. There's going to be cropped. Even for me, it's still a bit of like there's going to be cropped, and then I'm going to make sleeves. And however much I've got is how long the sleeves will be. That's how we're making that decision, just to not have more freaking scrap yarn going into the scrap yarn thing. I'll probably write a blog post where I write the pattern out in my size, and it'll be free because it's just in my size. It's just how much yarn I used at my size, the hooks I used for my size, and the measurements for my size. And then if you
Yeah.
want to do the math, you can make it in your size. Or if you're Diana, you could just make it in my size and have 10 inches of positive ease.
Yeah.
Whatever
Also
floats your
that.
boat. Also that. So that's my hope. Because I really don't want to add more to my scrap. I need to get rid of the scrap. The scraps have got to go.
Finally sorted out this thing.
Know what
It
you're
was
doing?
all bottled up and it got all tangled. Okay, so that yarn review yarn,
Yeah, yeah.
I finally started the project for our yarn
Good.
review, so I won't talk too much about it. But behold, this gauzy fabric.
Super gauzy.
Making the crochet with Carrie has one single knit sweater. It's like the summer knit sweater or something.
I think something like that, yeah. Oh, we love crochet with
And it
Carrie.
calls for a
She's so
DK weight
delightful.
on like 10
Oh,
10 millimeter needles, which
yes.
results in this like net. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
loving this. And
Isn't it?
I might just make like 10 of these out of various skeins of fingering weight and DK that I have because this is so much fun.
I'm
Like,
enjoying the knit. I know we can't talk about the yarn because the purposes of the yarn review is to review the yarn, but I am enjoying the project we picked. I think we picked a very good project.
it's so great. I'm loving the project.
Such
I think I will only say that I think the yarn is absolutely perfect for this project.
Yeah, I think we
And it's
nailed
going
it.
so fast, and it's so look at this. It was
I
so
mean, dude,
great.
it's DK weight yarn on a 10 millimeter needle. Exactly how slow did you think that was going to be?
I knew it was gonna go fast, but like heckin' fast. Like I knit on this while watching TV.
Well, yeah, because it's a wonderful beginner knit, is what it is.
It's so good. And
I
then
do
it's
love
just
that
three
idea.
rectangles. Four
Two,
rectangles.
four
Sorry, yes.
rectangles.
Front, back, and sleeves.
Yeah.
Four rectangles.
I like the idea of downsizing the millimeter on the needle and doing some fingering weight at the same stitches per inch. Oh my
It's
God, the
so
drape on
nice.
that would be intense.
The drape is the drape.
The drape is intense, you guys.
Anyway,
So good.
this yarn is
So good.
ugh,
I want to pick mine up.
Kremke Soul Wool Reborn Jeans, which is going to be our next yarn review once we have finished these projects.
Yes.
Not that our first yarn review is up yet because it's still getting edited.
Diana
Because
has now has firsthand knowledge of how much work I put into editing. I expect applause at how
I
fast my turnaround time is.
yeah, well, it didn't need to take this long. I don't know why. I didn't realize that we recorded our scrap pattern roundup in February.
We did.
That's going up this week because it
Oh
just needs
my
show notes.
God.
And our scrap pat or sorry, our yarn review happened in March.
Uh-huh. I know when we did it.
hmm I did not
Okay.
realize it was in my head. It was just like, oh, we only did that like 3 weeks ago.
Oh no, we did that
No,
much
no,
longer ago.
months. That was months ago,
Months
like
ago.
3 months ago. Yeah.
Months ago.
100% my fault for not prioritizing it. It is not that hard. And I yeah,
It just takes time. You just gotta
it
block off
does.
the time to do it, that's all.
Yep, and I clearly have not been doing that.
Oh, okay. Oh, I suppose it's my turn again. I can't wait to hear
It
your
is.
thoughts on that yarn, but I know we can't talk about it till we're reviewing it. I need
Thoughts
to
are
get
generally positive.
generally positive. It's a stream. Uh Steam. It's a Steam game review. 80% generally positive vibes.
Yeah,
Yeah. And one of those reviews where you're like, that is absolutely unhelpful. Thanks, Steam.
4 stars. Good game.
Yeah, 4 stars, good game. That also, why did you bother? Why? Why did you even bother? You gave no details to reference why it's a good game. None. It's the same with people like 1 star, bad game. I'm like, well, that tells me nothing. So that review was absolutely a waste of your time. Because it was absolutely a waste of my eyeballs. All right. During whip sprints, I did work exactly 1 row on the fingering
Exactly
weight.
1 row.
I did because I'm right exactly where I was when I picked it up. But I know I'm 1 row farther. I made a sparkly black rainbow and slime green triangle top-down version of my every what is it? Endless Summer Adventure Shawl, which is like my favorite shawl. It's all garter and eyelet lace. It's just it's so flouncy. It's so smooshy and so flouncy. I made a worsted version for the triangle top down, and I hate in my patterns not giving options for people. Does that make sense? Like I'm like, I know patterns are expensive because they're expensive. And I know why designers charge what they charge because it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But I do like having some variability built in for people. So while I've already done the worsted version, I'm doing a fingering weight version. So at least there's two weights of yarn for everybody to have numbers for. And two different styles because this is going to be a solid gray and then it's going to fade into purples, shades of purple. And then the rainbow black one has the eyelet lace sections done in the slime green. So I did exactly one row.
Woo.
Progress is going great on that, you guys. I have absolutely thoroughly been distracted with the choose your own adventure sweater stuff. But I did do it. The gray is a sort of medium like stone gray out of some dongle tweed that I have. And the purple is going to be in that 4 skeins of purple holst I got. Because I got 450-gram skeins of the holst in various shades of purple. So
Hmm.
I want to do a hard line from the gray to the purple. Well, okay, sorry. I want to do a purple row and then a gray row and then go into purple. So you get like this little purple chunk and then that last touch of gray and then into the purple. I want to fade through the purples so that you have
Okay.
gray at the top, you fade through, and then you have purple and purple tassels on the end.
Okay.
Yeah, so like that's the plan. I just need to do the knitting. The hard part. I have to do the
Hmm.
hard part. But there you go. Technically it counts because I worked on it for 25 minutes. I mean, I may have
Yeah,
complained because I messed up the row, thought about it, didn't think back. But I still worked on it.
that counts.
It counts. Ow. You're up. I
I
have
suppose I should talk about
one
this
more
thing.
thing.
I picked up my 10-stitch blanket and I did one mitered corner and a couple of rows.
I need to pick that up. I think it'd make a good blanket for my niece.
So this is the 10-stitch blanket. I don't remember the designer name. It'll be in the show notes. And I'm doing this out of scraps of worsted weight and DK. And I've decided that I will generally alternate between busier colors and plainer colors for a
So
hopefully overall balanced kind of thing.
so variegated and then tonals or solids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like something really bright and then something more
Muted.
neutral or
Yeah.
something.
Okay,
It's going to
okay.
depend entirely on what kind of scraps I have.
Fair.
Um, my next one after this, I think, is going to be this fun color.
Okay.
It's all blues and greens and yellows.
I'm excited to see that come together. I really need to put mine on the needles.
And then I have some leftovers from my sweater, so I'm not quite sure what order I'll do these in or if I'll even put them together.
You can make that decision later.
That's a later decision. Yeah, I have still all of this white to get through, or cream, I guess,
Cream.
and then all of this fun color. So it'll be a minute.
It'll be a minute. I'm so excited to see that grow up into a blanket.
And I'm doing that on 5mm needles. And I think it's going to be a lovely kind of picnicky sort of blanket.
Oh yeah. We'll make it
Hopefully everything in
excellent.
there is superwash so I can just throw it in the washing machine. That is the goal. It's going to be a blanket that is okayed for use outside.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that everything I pick up will be superwash. We'll see if I remember.
Oh boy. Okay. Um, it's a it's a risk. It's a risk. In excellent of most excellent news. Anybody who was watching the Instagram reels last week would have recognized the Hallelujah song because I made it to the sleeves.
Hey,
So I am on the sleeves of my linen top. I got two 50-gram balls here. Oh, I shouldn't have lifted my arm that high. Two 50-gram balls of linen yarn. They're in the round. They've been cast on. Their garter edges are done. I'm working on the increases. Once my sleeves are done, because the body is done, then I just have my yoke, which will be decreasing.
yay.
Woo-hoo-hoo. And then I am done.
So
Oh my
close.
God, I'm so close. This is some Morocco indigo yarn. Indigo, yes. They're 100% linen. Linen. There's no pattern. It's just a gauged garment. No pattern. But I have the wonderful gray with hints of blue or wonderful blue with hints of gray. Don't know. It's one of the two. But don't worry, I have a whole other sweater quantities worth in the other one. And once I've made one, and I'll know how much I've got left over, I'm gonna weigh my sleeves before I attach them to the sweater. Sweater? It's a shirt, guys. I'm making a t-shirt. I'm gonna weigh the sleeves before I attach it to the t-shirt and weigh how much yarn I have left over. And if the amount of yarn I have left over is roughly equal to the amount of yarn I have for the sleeves I made, that means my second version can be long sleeved. Since obviously I would have a slimmer fit sleeve for a full length sleeve, whereas
Hmm.
for the elbow length, what I'm doing a bell sleeve. So like it's pretty drapey, like it's really summer drapey, flappy, wappy. That's not English. It's fine.
Summer drapey flappy wappy.
It's fine. I'm in a fair bit of pain. English is starting to get really hard at this point. I need a nap. Okay. I know what I meant. Hopefully everybody else knows what I meant. I didn't want to say
I am
flouncy because the linen fabric isn't flouncy, but you know what I mean. I scratched the back of my head. I can't do that either right now.
I am more than far enough to start my cuffs on these socks. Ha ha. Ha ha
Excellent.
ha.
You'll have
Okay,
some
sorry, carry on.
socks. No, it's good.
I will have some
Uh,
socks.
I'm enjoying the linen a lot, like a lot. Like I'm kind of thinking I should keep my eyes out at the end of, well, technically this month, July, for when like they start putting the summer weight yarns on sale and see if I can score myself some more linen because that has been delightful to work in, and some more summer weight fabric would probably be a good idea.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm very happy with it. I'm definitely going to do a V-neck decrease situation. So we're going to do that. My cat's sleeping behind the computer monitor. Just heard her snort and roll over. So I am very happy. It means we are creeping so close to being done, and I have tried so many times to find the right garment for that linen. I'm so
Tune in
happy.
next week when it's or no, I guess about a month ago or ago. Tune in a month from now
Month from now.
when it gets ripped out and made into something else.
Oh, don't say things like that. That's just mean. That is mean. You say things like that, and I'm
Sorry.
gonna believe you when you say you're gonna spin for me and you for Tour de Fleece.
No, nobody should believe that. I don't even
Nobody,
believe that. That's
nobody
why I
should.
retracted it the instant I had
I
the
said
thought. I didn't even get it
no,
out loud.
no, no, no. No, I'm hoping to get the sleeves done. Probably not this week, but probably next week. Then I'm gonna have that big push to get it off the needles. And I'm gonna use the whole every row's getting smaller. Because obviously, like I'll attach the sleeves to the body, and that's like the widest point. But once you
Hmm.
start doing those shoulder decreases, those rows are going to get shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. It's going to feel so good. It's going to feel so
Uh-huh.
good. I'm hoping that helps. And the fact I'm making it a V-neck, I hope that also helps. I mean, I'll be knitting flat, but whatever, who cares?
There we go. I know how one by one ribbing works.
Are you sure? I cannot tilt my teacup any higher. That was my last project, my dear.
Oh, I guess I gotta do my last thing. Okay. This one's just I picked up my crochet lounge pants during the whip sprints.
I remember this.
I'll just hold them while I talk about them.
Okay.
There's no progress to show because I picked them up and I started working on them only to realize that I'd done the previous row wrong. So then I had to undo the bit of the row that I had done and the entire previous row. And then I started trying to redo the previous row correctly.
Hmm.
And I just kept not paying attention and doing it wrong in various different ways. So at the end of 25 minutes, I where is I did not quite complete the previous round. I made a quarter of a row of negative progress
Oh my
in
God.
25 minutes.
There was much drama, you guys. Much drama
So
occurred
I'm
around these
just
pants.
cursing at myself because just stupid mistakes like forgetting a chain four, like mistakes you can't fudge.
No,
I forgot a chain four or I wasn't doing it through the back post and that makes a big difference.
makes a big difference. Well, you've now learned you can't watch TV, you can't stream.
Can't
Um,
converse.
Verse.
I
Nope.
must sit. I can probably get away with listening to an audiobook while I work on this.
Yeah,
Because
maybe.
apparently it requires that many brain cells and it's not even hard. That's the worst part. It's not even hard. It's a non-complicated pattern that repeats regularly all the way around. It's not hard. I
Well,
just
yeah.
apparently can't converse and do it at the same time.
I've seen you execute beautiful, delicate, intense lace knitting, and I watch you screw up eyelet lace every time.
I know.
You just do better if it requires half a dozen brain cells. If it requires half a brain cell, it's going to be a problem for you.
Yeah, I don't do half brain cells. I
Nope.
do zero brain cells
Or
or like 10 brain cells.
all the brain cells. One of the
All
two.
yeah.
One of the two. You cannot like. I'm just,
Very
guys.
occasionally
Guys,
there's a
it's not a
mood
joke.
somewhere in the middle for like three brain cells, but in general it's zero brain cells or all the brain cells and nothing in between. Astronomical.
Astronomical.
If you would like to financially support these shenanigans, you can do so at patreon.com/northernhitspodcast. Any level of support gets you access to our patron-only Discord server, where we chat about all manner of things. My brain's really stuck on the inappropriate thing.
Just off the deep end.
So stuck. My brain's so stuck and I can't. It's inappropriate. I can't say it.
It is. You cannot. There is a
I
reason
absolutely
why
cannot.
there
I
was
can't even
just a
explain it.
cut. Can't even explain. There's no way we will not get flagged for inappropriate content. You can't do it. You can't do it. Where we talk all things yarn shops to astronomical events. Look at that.
Great.
I don't even
Yeah.
do the ad.
Astronomical events like the summer solstice,
There
for
you
which we're currently
go.
doing a knit-along. Are either of us currently working on it? I don't know.
No. Well,
No.
okay. In my
My cute little
defense,
mushroom bags, right, is back there. I thought really hard about it and then I picked
in
up
my
something else instead.
defense, I picked up something else instead. Hang on, wait.
Yeah.
My dried apricots are on top of it. In my defense, I could hand sew. But I really, really, really want to put my new leather belt on my treadle sewing machine, and I want to treadle sew it together because it's all straight
Ooh.
stitches. And right now, I am not in a shape that can manage the dexterity required to attach this. Because if you think spinning wheel rope is interesting to get affixed, it's got
Mm-hmm.
nothing on treadle sewing machines. That's even fiddlier. That's not a word. It's a word today. As soon as I'm able to put that together. Then I've got it all cut out. It's ready and pinned. I need to give it a good pressing, and then I wanna treadle sew it because I haven't actually done anything other than practice treadle sewing on my treadle machine. So that would be like my first project on it, right?
This is
Straight
completely
lines, big
aside, but I fell
rectangle.
down a rabbit hole. I found a new YouTuber I liked, and she does historical sewing, but she did a
Are we
series of
following her
videos
as a
about,
podcast? If not, we should be.
uh, well, I can do that when we're done.
Okay.
But I fell down her playlist of drafting vintage and historical menswear, and
Yeah.
I want to sew a waistcoat so freaking bad.
Okay, you have to start with a skirt and pants
I
first.
know,
You can't go straight to highly tailored waistcoats.
I know, but I want to so bad. So this
That's
might
like
be the thing that finally
saying,
gets me to sew a freaking
hey,
skirt.
hey, I'm going to pick up knitting and I'm going to start with Estonian lace.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I heavily endorse this delightful process. If you immediately jump into a completely tailored waistcoat, I require and demand that you film the whole process so we can pinpoint the meltdown moment.
This might be my fail along.
Might be. Because like can we start with
Drafting pattern,
easier?
drafting a pattern.
Can we start with
Drafting the
easier
pattern
like
could be
drafting a pattern? Can we start with basic tailoring techniques? Can we start with like you don't even
no.
have an iron and an ironing board, do you?
Yes, I do, actually.
Okay. Do you have the clappers?
I don't know what those are, so no.
Okay, that's for pressing seams. Do you have the little stuffed sawdust
No,
egg
I
shape
don't.
for okay. So there's
No, I have no
tools.
tailoring, ironing stuff.
There are tools you need before we even begin, and there are some techniques like learning to sew on a curve. You should, yeah, there's steps before we get to, because I don't want you to try it and then not have it work and then be completely, I
Oh,
can
I'm
never
aware.
do
I
it.
am
Yeah,
well aware that
yeah.
I absolutely should not jump straight into drafting my own vintage pattern and then hand sewing a tailored waistcoat. I am aware
Yeah.
that this is a terrible idea, and I might do it anyway because it sounds so fun.
I mean, the drafting part's not too bad. That's just measurements and math. Like drafting isn't that difficult. You already do that. So basically what you're doing for the Choose Your Own Adventure sweater, you're doing the same thing, just on paper.
Yeah, like she
Yeah, it's not
went
really
through the
that
entire
different.
process. I'm like, okay, this is just like a whole bunch of like
It's
measuring and
math.
connect the dots.
It is. It's just math and dot. It's not hard. It's drafting is not hard. I worry about the
So like
tailoring
I'm very
part.
excited about that.
I mean, fully
And then you have to
endorse
make a
it.
mock-up to because obviously
Yes.
men, especially with vintage men's patterns, they're not,
Any pattern ever.
they're not a well, yeah.
Any pattern ever needs a mock-up. If you buy a simplicity pattern, you do a mock-up.
Well, yeah, because every body is different.
Everybody, so you gotta be able to tailor that bad boy. I've done 4 mock-ups to get the corset the right way. Now I need to pull apart my corset mock-up to make my pattern. Four. Four.
I believe you.
Also a good
I'm
way to
well aware.
tailor. Corset's
I'm
hard,
well aware.
but tailoring is precise. I mean, if we get you the tools,
But I want a waistcoat.
let's get you the tools. I will put my foot down. You need the tools first, so you can do all the precise ironing and placing. Then yeah, if you wanna do a fail along where we draft historical patterns, absolutely, I'm totally game. I mean, I'm not gonna draft a waistcoat. Maybe I'll draft a gray coat.
I would draft whatever you want.
I would draft something different, but that's just because I have no interest in men's tailored waistcoats.
Hey, at least
But
I picked waistcoat over a tailored jacket.
that's what I'm thinking, that half cape 19th century Sherlock Holmes-esque co coat.
Oh, yeah,
That I would wear. That is a statement coat Jocelyn would wear. So like I would make one of those. That I would make.
absolutely.
But I would also make a robe à la française, which is just nothing but sheer lace and ruffles.
Mm.
Or a lingerie dress. Like if we're like aiming for the stars, maybe I draft out skirt and serge lace for a lingerie dress, which is like my reach dress goals. In which case,
I also
oh my
kind of want one
God,
of those
you
fancy
need
like dressing
tools?
gowns or like a smoking jacket.
Oh my God,
Those look so
yes.
comfy.
I like the patched smoking jackets. We're completely derailed. This is not what we're supposed to be talking about. I like the
No.
patched smoking jackets where it's all little fabric scraps that have been turned into a, oh yeah. And then you velvet line
Oh,
that, and it's so Jocelyn. It's so Jocelyn. Jocelyn wants one of those. Jocelyn also wants like a house, what is it? 1940s, 1950s, I think, where you would have pajamas for hosting, your hosting pajamas. So these like this was your house
oh,
coat you could wear, like your house PJs you could wear, but also it was frou-frou enough you could have company over. I want those. Like I want
your fancy
hostessing pajamas.
athleisure?
Yes, I don't want basic athleisure. I want fancy hosting athleisure. Come on now. Come on now. I lived through the first round of print on the side of pant legs. I don't need to go back to that. I don't. I don't. I don't.
Nobody does, and yet it seems to be
Nobody does.
back.
But it returns to haunt me. Returns to haunt me. Turns to haunt me. Anyway, what we were doing a Patreon ad. You and I will have to talk because yeah, I'm game, but I'm gonna put my foot down. You need the tools. So at least if you give it an attempt, we give you the best chance you can get.
On the plus side, I don't need the like the ironing tools until I've like got to the point where I've finished a mock-up that fits.
Yes. We've got a bit of legal room.
So
I mean, they're nothing
that it's going to
fancy.
take a hot minute to get there.
You've got the steamer, you've got an ironing board and iron, you've got most of it. It's just the clappers are essentially just wooden, fancy pieces of wood, and the stuffed arm just help with shaping and stuff. So you won't
Yeah,
need
yeah.
those to get to the pattern part, but you will need them before you pattern. So or before you cut out your fabric. But let's be honest, if I'm doing
Yes,
a lingerie
I've
dress, well, I've got to go hunch down a freaking room's worth of lace.
uh-huh.
And very, 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 very light see-through linen, like
Uh-huh.
gauzy linen. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole thing because, like, I'm committing to combinations. I'm committing to a new corset because that's all layers, right? All layers.
Corset stays for no. Lingerie dress. Victorian?
Yes,
Okay.
corset. However,
Yeah,
Victorians
corset.
were so good with corsets, there's very little to no boning. So, and since the one of the best mimics for whalebones are zip ties,
Yep. Synthetic whalebone is just zip ties without
zip
the
ties
zippy and the tie.
without the zippy and the tie. Yep, that's all it is. That's all it is. I would need some busks though. I only have the one busk, so I'd have to order some busks. And I would want proper lacing, uh, ribbon because it's just sturdier ribbon. So there are some things that I would need, but yeah, we can talk about it as a fail along. Why are we discussing fail alongs? Okay, so what are the Patreon tiers? I forget if it's the sweater quantity. Is it the sweater
Oh,
quantity tier?
I don't I typed it out myself and I don't remember. We redid the Patreon tiers a little bit for fun. If you're for
We tweaked
$10
it.
and
We
up,
tweaked it.
they're slightly tweaked,
They're
and
tweaked.
at some level we're gonna do fail-alongs.
Because we need to find ways to give back to the community that like work with your work schedule and my work schedule, like and like our lives.
Yeah.
So there's always like little tweaks as we try something and we see whether or not it works or not. So we got the swags, you got the discount codes and one of them is the fail along. So we're trying to decide what sort of crafts we're going to attempt. They will be live streamed for the Patreon members at that tier and above. So
Yeah.
that's going on. However, with Patreon, everything you need to know is actually just you can check it out on Patreon, Northern Knits Podcast on Patreon. That'll give you the deets because whatever we've got posted, that's what we've committed to. Whether we remember what it is or not, she's there. She's she's there. That's the important part of the conversation. Uh, however, we do understand budgets, they're a real life thing. If you can't financially support liking, subscribing, English is getting real hard, guys. Commenting and interacting with us on social media platforms is a great way to show us what you're working on. What do we got going on? July's program schedule will have been out at this point, so you guys can check that out both at the YouTube community page as well as the Northern Knits Podcast Patreon page. That is a free posts. So if you follow us for free, you just get that information. I don't hide that behind a paywall. That seems kind of silly.
Hmm.
If you want to know where we are, I will tell you. Quick overview is this Friday is the monthly check-in with Louise. That is something I do over on Louise's channel, Wildflower and Wool. This coming Sunday is the monthly live episode, which means this weekend is craft off voting time. So keep an eye out on Instagram because we'll be posting our craft off votes there as well as YouTube. Sometimes I forget. I don't mean to. It just happens. Life is what it is. We also have all of the other stuff that's going on this month. E-knitted for Patreon members, $5 and more. Whip sprints at the end of the month. There's a mid-month motivation. You get the idea. We got a lot
Yep.
going on as
Enid will
usual.
be Enid will be on the 20th and Whip Sprints on the 27th.
You betcha. For all Patreon members at $1 or more, please don't forget to sign into the Discord threads because the Advent Calendar Exchange sign up has been posted and is live for this year. So you have to the end, maybe not the end of the month, let's say till the 15th of July. You have to the 15th of July to sign up so that I can get everybody paired up. I give a series of numbers to the mysterious Mr. B. He rolls a dice, he pairs people up, and then he is responsible for everything that happens after that. No, he has no idea what he's doing. He doesn't know who's attached to what number. He just has a series of numbers and he pairs them up for me. It is as random as I can make it. It's random. It's double
It's
blind
fair.
random. It's double blind random because he has no idea who's who. So kind enough to do that for me. Then the exchanges can go out because I do know we have people all over the place. So some delivery shipping dates are different than others, depending on who your partner is. Could be earlier, could be later. And we like to give time because we tend to limit dollar value and put more emphasis on little handmade items. So that is currently open. So a reminder, the never ending librarian cal is still never ending because neither one of us picked up the librarian this week or this
Oh, yeah,
month
that still
or last
exists.
month.
Too much stuff going on.
Too much stuff going on. The summer solstice is happening. Once I'm able to thread my treadle sewing machine, I'm gonna get going and get my first dress done. I feel like I'm done practicing. Like my stitches are fairly even. I'm at the point where I need to just commit and start making things.
Good. I'm excited.
Especially an item that's not going to have any top stitching. So like any unevenness will be worked out. Nobody's going to see it anyway. It's fine. All my top
Yeah.
stitching I can do by hand. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's happening. And I think that's everything. Tour de Fleece is happening for people who are doing Tour de Fleece. Stash Dash is happening for people who are doing Stash Dash. Keep eyes out. We're doing a bingo card update because we're about the middle of the year-ish. So it's about time to check in to see how we're doing on our random year-long bingo card attempts. I think that's it. I think that's it.
Think so. Gosh, I hope
Sweet.
so.
Sweet. All right, guys. We're gonna say goodbye because I would like to go rest. So I'm
Yep.
going to say until next week, I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
And no matter where your week takes you, don't forget to knit.
Don't forget to knit.